Jeez. It's not really good for one-handed riding, is it? Oops, sorry. That would have been a good heads up. Yeah, I would have liked to have known that was coming. Oh, we're stopping?
Okay guys, so check out the church right here, now the statue. Now, this is the Church of the Holy Angel that has some historical significance for us Cuban people because our national hero, Jose Marti, he was baptized in this church, even though he was not a Catholic religious person, really. Well, it's also important because it's the scenario for one of the most important novels in Cuba's literature, actually the one considered the most important novel, written back in the 1800s by this man right here, Cirilo Villaverde. Now, the main character, the name of the novel, and also the main character is Cecilia Valdez, the lady that you're going to see in this statue right here. And well, it's a novel that depicts the relationships between the different classes back in the colonial period here in Cuba. Now, Cecilia, she was an unwanted child of a rich Spanish man with one of his slaves. Okay, this was a thing that was happening a lot back in the colonial period. Many of these rich Spanish landlords, they would go to bed with their slaves, had these childs, and then abandon them in churches like this. So she was abandoned in this church. She was raised by the priest, who is the one that gave her her last name, Valdez. This was a common practice back in the day. And well, when Cecilia grows up, she's described in the book as a very, very attractive woman. Every man in Havana wanted her. And well, she falls in love with the son of a Spanish man here in Cuba, which, well, she didn't know this, but was also her half-brother. So yeah, it's a tragedy.
Oh, there you go.
It's a tragedy, very tragic novel. It was her half-brother, the son, the legitimate son of this Spanish man, who was her parent as well, her father as well. And then, well, Cecilia, she was going to marry this man, but then the man falls in love with another lady of high society, unlike Cecilia, who was a mulata, the mixture between Spanish and African, which wasn't very accepted into society at that moment, or the African slaves, much less, even less.
Oh,
now,
sure.
well, there was an African, Afro-Cuban young man who used to be a slave but had become free. He was able to buy his freedom, and he falls in love with Cecilia as well. So they made a cahoots to assassinate her husband. She's very jealous after her husband, the Spanish man she was promised to, not her husband, her fiance, decides to marry this other high society lady. And well, they assassinated him, and they are both thrown into jail. And well, it's a very, very tragic novel that depicts the complicated relationships between the different social classes here back in Cuba. Okay, they tell you what a criollo is, which is what we call the Cuban people that were born here, even if they were sons and daughters of Spanish people. They had different rights to the people that were born in Spain. So this is one of the reasons that triggered the independence wars. This inequity, inequality of rights between the different classes in Cuba, the exploitation, the suppression that the Cuban people were suffering just for being born in the island and not in Spain. Right.
Wow.
So, guys, this is the last stop of the tour. Okay, from here it's leaving the bikes at the park.
Okay.
So up to now, any questions? Do you want to know?
Nope. I think we're good.
This is good.
Yeah.